Hi, my name is Dana Hansen. I'm the president of End Zone Sports, and I am thrilled to be interviewing Tyson Kahle today. Tyson, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Dana.
Hey, very nice to see you. I know you're kind of getting over a cold, so it means even more that you would make the time to to spend a few minutes with us today. I was hoping that you could maybe share a little bit about your background. Maybe, growing up, did you play sports? What sports? And then as you grew into an adult, tell us a little bit about your professional background.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, growing up as a kid, sports were my love. That's all I cared about, really. I grew up playing everything, flag football through football, tackle football, basketball, soccer, tennis, baseball. As I got older, I concentrated more on tennis and basketball. Played a little bit of football, but once we got into high school, our team was pretty bad, so I focused more on tennis and basketball. So I continue to play tennis quite a bit now. I stopped playing pickup basketball about 10 years ago because my knees are kind of shot, but I just really enjoyed the sports. And as I got into college, I obviously didn't make it in tennis for that, but I did play a lot of rec tennis through there. Went to the University of Florida, played rec basketball, rec football, just kind of did it all. And I always wanted to kind of be a business owner. So my degree in college was business management. So I went through the School of Business Management at University of Florida, graduated, took on a couple roles, really found a career at a company called Jabil Circuit. I got into supply chain, did a lot of procurement. I was a buyer, I was a planner, I was a master planner. I did global planning. Then I did procurement management. And then I ended up taking a job at Coca-Cola, which brought me to Atlanta here. Again, I was in supply chain. I did supply chain management, project management, global procurement, and global analytics. And all of it was fun, but it really wasn't my passion. I always wanted to do something in sports, and I always wanted to do something on my own. I was always heavily involved in working with my kids. I-9 obviously is a big competitive of ours, but up in Atlanta, that was kind of the leagues up here at the time. So I did a lot of coaching for that organization as my kids went through it. I really enjoyed the coaching aspects of it. So I kind of looked into franchises, and that kind of led me to End Zone. So I looked at I-9, I looked at End Zone, I looked at a few others, and End Zone, after doing the interview process with you guys, it just felt like it worked. There was a lot of opportunity. I liked the junior program, the leagues. There was just a lot of different avenues. So I gravitated towards that, and that's kind of where I am now. So
I appreciate that. So it sounds like you always had the itch to be an entrepreneur, and you kind of knew that that was the direction that you were probably going to eventually go. Um, did you, number one, I think the biggest question, I think it's kind of a scary leap. Was it hard for you to want to leave corporate America? And did you start End Zone while you were currently working at Coca-Cola? Tell us a little bit about that.
yeah, absolutely. That was the biggest fear I had was, I mean, Coca-Cola is a big company. I had a nice salary. They had a pension plan. They had, benefits to, excuse me, health benefits to where even if I retired, I got to keep them. So that was a lot to ask to give up. So the thing I loved most about End Zone was you guys gave us the flexibility and freedom to be able to ease into it, take it at our pace, not have to drop everything I'm doing and quit my job. So that was a big sell for me. So I was able to, come to End Zone, and my focus was, let me start with leagues. I can do those on the weekend. I can, grind during the nights and get the road signs out, do the marketing, hold functions and stuff like that at night, and put my leagues on in the weekend while still doing my, 8 to 5 job at Coke. So that was big for me. It gave me a chance to get my feet wet, see if this was something I thought would work without mortgaging my future. I mean, that was the nice thing about End Zone too. The franchise fee was very it was very reasonable for what you were getting for sure. So, if everything failed for me, I was going to be out, a few $1,000s, obviously, but I was going to be able to recover from that. So it was a risk worth taking for me. The leagues I started in a football league. We did really well the first year. We were profitable. At the same time, I looked into the junior program, and I was able to pick up a couple schools. I didn't want to pick up too many, obviously, because I was working a full-time job at Coke, but I just kind of dabbled with a couple junior programs. I went to my nephew's school, and they were able to bring me on. And then I had a school that my kids were in the area. They weren't ready for preschool yet, but there was a school that we were going to look into. So I formed a relationship with them, and I was able to get into that school. So I started with those two schools, and really it was me trying to take a little time off of Coke to go do those with another coach, and they were very successful, and the league was successful. So I knew right away that there was a lot of opportunity in end zone, but I also knew I wasn't going to be able to do both. I wanted to really grow end zone and put my time and heart into it. So that's what I did. About 6, 8 months through it, I quit Coke and I focused on end zone. And I think for me, it was the best choice I could have made. I love being around kids. I love being around sports. I love being an entrepreneur and being my own boss. So I'm glad I never looked back. It's been a great move for me.
Yeah, it's franchising is being in business for yourself, but not by yourself. You have the support, you have the game plan, and also we're better as a company because of people like yourself that are going to be adding their kind of individual spin on things, and certainly appreciate all of the effort that you've put into growing your business. I am curious about when you talk about the junior program, can you explain how the junior program works and why you thought it might be a good fit for you?
Yeah, absolutely. The junior program for me is it's the best fit for my lifestyle right now. Um, I've busy. I've got 4 kids. They're all different ages, so we're running around on weekends. So the league program is a little more difficult for me. I'm still capable to do leagues and clinics. I've got good coaches that will oversee those, but I really like to concentrate on the junior program. It's more of a lifestyle. If it's somebody that wants to work a normal business setting, you're 8 to 5, it kind of fits in that realm, but it gives you the flexibility as well to, if you want to work more at night, morning, create your own hours, you can do that. But what it is really is we're very involved with all the preschools in our community. I work probably, I think it's 29 or 30 preschools we have currently. And basically, what we're doing is we're working mornings and afternoons with those schools. Parents basically sign up at the schools that we're in, and they look for us to kind of work with their kids. So the big thing that we do is we offer a very rigid program. So we're working with a bunch of different sports. So we're teaching soccer, flag football, tennis, golf, basketball, t-ball, lacrosse. So it's a great variety of sports. It keeps the kids very engaged. It keeps them entertained. It keeps them motivated to come out and want to learn sports. They don't get tied up with just only soccer or only flag football and get bored of it. We're constantly rotating the sports. It makes it exciting for us. It makes it exciting for the kids. It's really a great avenue. Really, I love the junior program because the margins are very high as well. It's a program where you're not having to fork a lot of money into marketing. You're visiting the school, you're making flyers, you're making posters, that type of thing. But it's not a whole lot of marketing as far as Google ads or promotional activities or stuff like that. It's working within the community. You get to meet a lot of great kids. The kids love seeing you when you come in there. They just gravitate to you. It's really if you can run the program well, and it's all it takes is some organizational skills and a love to be around kids and sports, you're going to run it fine. And like I said, there's just a ton of flexibility in it. You can kind of make your own hours, work the schools you want to work at, be where you want to be, grow it as big as you want. There's a million preschools in every city. You're not really limited, and some of the schools that we're not in right now, we'll probably be in another few months. It just rotates so often. There's schools that we didn't have 2 years ago that I tried to get into that we have now. So it's ever changing. There's always a constant demand for us. And it's just a good avenue to go. But I'll be happy to answer any specific questions within it, as far as our revenue drivers or whatever you might have for me.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. So, I mean, that's a lot of schools. You said around 29, 30 schools, I think. How many kids is that, and what type of, I don't know if you feel comfortable sharing it, but what type of revenue does that kind of generate?
Absolutely. So yeah, we have anywhere from 700 to 1,000 kids. It just depends on the time of year. Summer, we go down to probably our 600 or 700 range, but we really have more kids than that. That's just kind of the kids that are signed up in our program. So in the summertime, we run a lot of summer camps. So I don't have individual students that are paying for our program, but the school is paying us. So we might see 100 kids, but they're not individually paying us. The school is paying us. So that's why the numbers drop. A lot of our schools for the summer are elementary schools. Some of our schools that run a lot of field trips, we drop off for the summer, but we're doing summer camps for them. So our revenue is pretty consistent year round. Even in the summer, we might drop about 10% is all. So my monthly numbers usually, um, we have two really big months, August and January. And the reason we have the two bigger months is our elementary schools, we usually sign up for a semester class. They pay everything up front. So we'll do like this January, we did 58,000 for January. Last August, we did 66,000. Our months in between, we average between 32 and $36,000 a month. So we're doing well over 400,000 a year. We should break our numbers again this year. And I've been really consistent with my pricing. Really haven't had a price raise in forever. We'll probably have a little bit of a price raise this year just because of inflation's gone kind of crazy. But the best thing about the program really is like I said, the margins are still very high. We're up near 50% on margins. There's not a whole lot of cost with this. It's basically our coaches, some equipment, a little bit of marketing. Everything else is just revenue profit coming in for us.
Man, congratulations. You're absolutely killing it. Setting the bar very, very high, and it's certainly impressive. I'm curious, like I think one of the questions that comes up quite a bit is competition. You mentioned a competitor, a big competitor that we see in pretty much most markets is I-9 Sports.
Right.
And I think in some of the preschools there's like some soccer programs and things like that here and there. How do you feel like we compete? What's the competitive advantage you think that you have with End Zone?
The big one is, and it's across the board really, is for me, it's customer service. And being able to run both programs is huge. So what I find when we come into a school, I'm doing an email for every school that we're at, just kind of explaining the sport we taught, the skills we taught. We have a Facebook page for each of our schools, so we can set up pictures and link them to the Facebook page so parents can see that. Constant communication. If there's a rain out, I constantly communicate to my parents, hey, we're going to rain out. Here's our makeup. Our competition surprisingly just doesn't do those basic fundamentals, but just having that customer service goes a long way. Having good coaches in place, taking the time to hire good coaches, training them, making sure they want to be around kids is vital because the kids sell our program. They tell their mom, hey, I love this. I want to do it another month. So it's very important that we're bringing in the right coaches to coach them. We're giving the right communication. We're providing good customer service. We have a relationship with our directors and the teachers at the school. All that flows to make us very successful. Having the variety of sports, I can't tell you how much that helps. If we're just running soccer, like some of our competitors are just doing only soccer, the kids get bored with that after a couple months and they want to do something else. So we are able to kind of do multiple sports to keep them engaged. And that just leads to a sustainability rate. We don't really lose kids. When they're with us till they graduate pre-K. And that's why it's important for our franchise owners to really get into the junior program because that's a feeder for your leagues. Every one of those kids that if they're running a junior program and then they're running a league on top of it, it's easy marketing. Hey, End Zone, we're going to run a good league. We ran a great junior program. Come aboard. So it's going to be your feeder instead of worrying about Google signs and road signs and all that. Those all help. But man, if you can just take 1,000 kids that you already have in your program and say, hey, we're going to have a league on Saturday now that you're 4, 5, 6, 7, you're going to keep them not only from, 3 years old through 5, you're going to have them until they're 12 or 13 years old. So it's vital for that too. And I-9, they run a good program up here, but they don't have the junior program. And it's a great opportunity for us to get ahead of them, to get their kids younger, groom them up to know what end zone's about, and have them in our leagues as well. So it's a great opportunity. I think it's what separates us from I-9 and some of our competitors. And obviously the competitors that I'm talking about at the preschools, I really think it's just the communication, the customer skills, the variety of sports. It's something our competitors just don't offer.
And I love hearing that. That is absolutely true. And I will, I guess maybe one kind of main final question I have for you. I think in every company, every system, there's always going to be people kind of at the top, people kind of in the middle, people at the bottom. What do you think the biggest difference is for, between the people that are, achieving some incredible things like yourself versus people that are kind of in the middle, or maybe towards the lower end? What is it about your
Right.
business that you think maybe separates you from others?
I think there's a couple things, but the biggest thing is drive. If you care and you want to be successful, you will be. I mean, all the tools are there for you. Franchise does a great job of hooking us up with what we want and need. They've been very outgoing to help. It's just you got to basically get off your butt and do something. And the other thing is you got to be able to think outside the box a little bit. When I came to End Zone, there was a lot of things that were going on that I was like, why don't we try this or try that? And the best thing I like about End Zone is you guys are always been very open to letting us do that. It's not like you're pigeonholed into this. So, for instance, when I started End Zone, it was, you know, the thing was we want to do one sport for 8 weeks, and then after we're done with that sport, we'll move on to another sport, do it for 8 weeks, and so forth. And I was always like, why can't we right away just go month to month and change sports constantly? And Tony's like, go for it. So, and that model has worked exceptional for us because we have people that are month to month with us, and there's no break. There's no, okay, I've got to remarket a different sport now, take 2 weeks down to do another demo, remarket it, lose 2 weeks of income. I constantly have the income coming in. We set up people on monthly pay. So it just, click and forget it. They're on, they don't want to stop. It continues to go forward. They don't get bored of a sport. So it's constant all the time. So it just drives more revenue. But the big thing is you got to have confidence, and you got to have want to. I mean, I think a lot of people that don't do well in the business, they sit at their house and they might make a call to a preschool and say, hey, I'm Tyson with End Zone, would love to be a part of your school. Can I come in and do a soccer program? They're like, oh, we already have a program. And then they hang up the phone and that's it. You gotta get off your seat. You gotta get out to the school. You gotta be present. You gotta show them why it's a great place. Even if they already have a sports program, why you can be a better sports program, or let us in. If they're doing soccer, well, we can do every other sport. But you gotta get in the door. You gotta make connections. You gotta be willing to do that. If you're willing to do that, it's a great business. It's easy. It's very sustainable, but it's just having the want to.
Yeah, I would totally, echo those sentiments. I think it's, like, just like in life, it's so much of, personal relationships, going out there and meeting people and seeing them and showing that you're, that like this isn't just like a hobby for you. This is actually something that, this is your business and you're good at it. And by the way, there's a whole bunch of other preschools that are using us. And I think that credibility can really blossom into something really special where you pick up momentum and you really kind of, it's that flywheel effect where it's tough to stop once you really get that moving. It takes a bit to get it moving, takes some effort. I don't know that, I don't think that anything in life comes easy. I think there, like you have to go through the motions. You have to kind of do what we coach you to do. But at the end of the day, if you're willing to put that into action, and you're coachable, I think that's the other thing too. I think sometimes we have folks that might not be the right fit for our franchise system because maybe they're not coachable. And let's face it, this is sports, so it's all about the coaching and then the execution. So I
Right.
think you're a great example of both of those things.
Well, thank you. And like you said, it's just You got to be able to look at our competition and what are they doing and what can we do to be different. I mean, I know when I started leagues here, we had a lot of success, but I-9 was been here for years, so we went a different route. We tried to make this very community friendly, very family friendly. I remember when we did our opening day, we brought all the families out. We had like a big cake for the families to have. We did big food, a big barbecue. So it was different. It was a smaller league because it was our first one. I think we had 170 kids, but it felt like a community thing. I mean, the parents were like, "This is awesome," and it doesn't have to be super big at first, but make it different, make it exciting, make it, something that people are going to remember. There's just different avenues. Like I said, the other thing we did is, we went into schools that didn't have a lot of um, kids that could afford our league. So we offered scholarships to some of these schools, and that paid dividends too, because, you know, it made our league a little bigger that first year. So we might have only had 170 kids, but you offer 15, 20 scholarships to make another team or two. It makes the league look a little more fluffier, a little better. It gives kids an opportunity that normally wouldn't be there, an opportunity. It spreads good word in the community. So doing things like that competitors don't do just goes a long way as well. So it's constantly thinking of different avenues. What are our customers doing, or what are our competitors doing that we might be able to do that they're not, and kind of reach for that.
Yeah, and I think it's the little things that make the big differences. If we can create a wow experience for the customers, they're going to not only want to use us again and again, but they're probably going to tell their friends about it because their friends have kids too. And so
Absolutely.
I think that word of mouth can be, can be truly amazing. And the fact that, this isn't a business for a year, like there are some businesses where are required to spend, tens of thousands of dollars every single month in marketing, because you need that, because you don't get the repeat and referral business that we get in this business. So it's a little different, dynamic, and it's a lot more fun. And I think, when you're talking about doing special things like a barbecue or bringing cake, or, like making it kind of a community event, I think people want to have that sense of community. They want to be with their
Absolutely.
quote tribe. They want to be with people that are like them, that love their kids, that love sports, and put all that together. So I think
Yeah.
you sound like you've done just an amazing job at doing that.
Yeah. It's been a blast. I've enjoyed every minute of it. So
Tyson, man, hey, thank you so much. Continued success. You're blowing it out, and setting the bar high. So thank you so much for this time today.
absolutely, anytime.
I appreciate you.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Hey, you too.